Hello and Assalamu alaikum viewers. My name is Afazir Antayr and I am a foundation level student at Rehan School, Islamabad, Barakau campus. Today I am
Wow,
to conduct an AI session with ChatGPT on a
that sounds
special
really
topic of whatsoever. In this session,
ab-
I will ask few questions and ChatGPT will provide the answer. So let's start. Hello ChatGPT.
Hi, I'm ready to go. Let me know what your questions are, and I'll do my best to give you clear, helpful answers. What would you like to ask first?
Okay, ChatGPT. My first question is, what does the word whatever mean? ChatGPT, my first question is, what does the word whatever mean?
Great question. So, the word whatever is really versatile. It can be used to indicate any option or anything at all, like when you say pick whatever you like, or it can express indifference, as in, yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. Context is key to understanding exactly which meaning is being used.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is, when
Of course.
do people ask the word whatever?
Good question. People often use whatever in casual conversation when they don't have a strong preference, like when they say, whatever you want to do is fine with me. Or sometimes it can be used in a dismissive way if they're not really invested in the outcome, like, oh, whatever, it doesn't matter. So it really depends on the tone and context.
ChatGPT, please give me answer with detail and with example.
Absolutely. So, whatever can be used in a few different ways. For example, if someone's deciding what to eat, they might say, I'm fine with whatever, you choose. In that case, it means any option is okay and they have no strong preference. Another example, if someone asks, do you want to watch a movie or go for a walk? And you respond, whatever, it just means you're open to either and you don't mind. However, sometimes whatever can also be dismissive. Imagine someone says, I worked really hard on that project, and another person just replies, whatever, meaning they don't really care. So the meaning really depends on the emotional tone and context in which it's used.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is whatever a positive word?
That's a great question. So whatever's actually neutral, it really depends
ChatGPT,
on.
please give me a minimum 2 minutes answer. In one answer, minimum 2 minutes.
Of course. So the word whatever is considered a very flexible term, and whether it has a positive or negative connotation depends a lot on context, tone, and the relationship between the speakers. In some cases, it can be completely positive. For example, someone might say, whatever makes you happy. And in that sense, it's supportive and open. Or in a group project, a person might say, we can do whatever you choose, showing flexibility and trust. On the other hand, whatever can also have a dismissive or indifferent feel. For instance, if someone is frustrated and just says, whatever, I don't care, it sounds like they're disengaged or even annoyed. So it really relies on the speaker's tone and body language. In written form, it can be even harder to interpret. For example, a simple whatever in a text message might make the recipient feel dismissed, even if the sender didn't intend it that way. So when we analyze whatever, we have to remember it's just a tool. It's not inherently positive or negative. It all comes down to context. So it's good practice to pay attention to tone and situation before interpreting the word.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is, can whatever show difference?
Yes, absolutely. Also can show different messages depending on what's used. So if
ChatGPT, my next question is, can whatever show indifference? ChatGPT, can you listen me? Hello, ChatGPT.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have any other questions or topics you'd like to discuss, just let me know. I'm here to help and I can keep going with examples or explanations if you need them.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is, can whatever show indifference?
Yes, it absolutely can. In fact, one of the most common uses of whatever is to express indifference. For instance, if someone asks, what do you want to do tonight? And you say, whatever, It signals you don't have a strong preference. You're fine with any option. The tone is key here. If you say it casually and calmly, it just means you're neutral. But if you say it with a certain sharpness, it can come across as dismissive or even irritated. So, in short, yes, whatever is often a go to word when someone wants to show that something just doesn't matter to them.
Okay, ChatGPT. My next question is, what is indifference?
Ah, great question. Indifference is
ChatGPT,
basically,
ChatGPT, please give me minimum 2 minute answer with all questions. I ask
of course, let me give
question.
you a more absolutely. So, indifference is a state where a person feels no strong emotion, either positive or negative about something. It's not the same as dislike or hate, it's more like a neutral or passive stance.
Okay, ChatGPT. My next question is,
Of course, I'm ready for your next question. Just let me know what you'd like
what
to ask.
what is indifference?
Sure. Indifference is a state of not having a strong feeling or preference about something. When a person is indifferent, they don't feel strongly positive or negative, they're just neutral. It's different from apathy, which is a more long term emotional disengagement. Indifference can arise when something just doesn't matter to you, like choosing a flavor of ice cream when you have no preference, or when something doesn't affect your life. It can be a conscious decision, a temporary feeling, or even a sign that you don't see the situation as important. In communication, indifference can be tricky. Sometimes people mistake it for being cold or uncaring even when that's not the intent. So, overall, indifference is a lack of strong feeling or investment in a situation, and it's really a neutral space between care and disinterest.
Okay, ChatGPT. My next question is, do children ask the word whatever?
That's a really interesting point. Yes, children do often use the word whatever, especially as they grow into their preteen or teenage years. For them, it can be a way of asserting independence, like when a child doesn't want to explain their choices. For instance, if a parent asks, "Why did you choose that outfit?" and the child just says, "Whatever." It's like a short way to avoid an argument or explain themselves. At that stage, they're often experimenting with independence and they might not have fully developed other ways to express it. So for children, whatever often signals the push for autonomy or a desire to keep things simple when they don't want to get into details.
Okay, ChatGPT. My next question is, do adults ask the word whatever? And please give me minimum 2 minutes answer.
Yes, absolutely. Adults do use the word whatever as well, though the way they use it is often more nuanced. For adults, whatever can still signal indifference, just like with kids, but it often carries a bit more weight. For example, in a professional setting, if a colleague says, "We can do it your way" or "whatever you prefer," it's a polite way to express flexibility without being dismissive. On the other hand, in a personal argument, an adult might say whatever in a frustrated way, signaling they're done with the discussion. Adults also use it to avoid getting bogged down in minor decisions, like when someone says, "Whatever, just pick a place, I don't mind." They're showing that they don't want to waste time debating something trivial. However, it's important to note that especially in adult conversations, tone and context really matters. If used casually, it can just be a shortcut for flexibility. But if it's used with a sigh or a sharp tone, it can come across as dismissive or tired. So while adults do use it, it's really a tool for brevity, autonomy, or sometimes even frustration, depending on how it's delivered.
Okay, ChatGPT. My next question is,
Of course. Just let me know what your next question is, and I'll give you another detailed answer, whether it's about language, communication, or anything else you have in mind.
okay, ChatGPT. My next question is, can whatever end a conversation?
That's a great question. Yes, whatever can absolutely end a conversation, especially if it's used in a dismissive way. For example, if one person is expressing frustration or just wants to stop debating, they might say something like, "Whatever, I'm done," signaling that they don't want to continue. In that case, it's a clear signal that the topic is closed. On the flip side, if used more neutrally, it might just mean someone doesn't have a preference and the conversation could still continue. But when used as a brush off, it does signal a kind of closure, especially if there's a tension or finality in the tone. So, yes, whatever can definitely be a conversation ender, depending on how it's said and in more context.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is whatever common in English? And please give me detailed answer with detail and with examples. And please minimum give me 2 to 3 minutes answer. Minimum.
Absolutely. The word whatever is extremely common in English. It's a very versatile term, and people use it in a variety of contexts. For starters, it's often used to express flexibility. For example, if a friend asks, "What do you want to do this weekend?" and you reply, "Whatever, I'm fine with anything," it signals that you're open to any suggestion. In this sense, it's a positive, easygoing word. At the same time, whatever is also used to signal indifference or a lack of interest. For instance, if someone is debating something and you say, "Whatever, it doesn't matter to me," it means you don't really care about the outcome. Another common use is when people say whatever in a dismissive way, often signaling frustration or fatigue, like if a person's done arguing and says, "Whatever, I don't care." In pop culture, you often hear teenagers or young adults use it to assert independence or push back against authority. For instance, a student might say, "Whatever, I'll just do it my way," which shows a kind of rebellious independence. Overall, it's such a common word because it's short, it's flexible, and it gives people a way to express a range of emotions, whether they're being easygoing, ambivalent, or even frustrated. And because it's so adaptable, it can appear in casual conversations, in media, or even formal speech, that you have to be careful with tone. So, in sum, whatever is one of the most widely used casual expressions in English, and it can mean a lot of different things depending on how it's said and when it's used.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is
Of course.
can whatever sound rub rude?
That's a really thoughtful question. So, yes, depending on how it's used, whatever can sometimes come off as rude. For example, if someone's expressing their feelings or trying to engage and you just say whatever in a dismissive tone,